making it simple and easy to understand and straight to the point. So if you are interested, watch this video to the end and please don't forget to subscribe, especially if you are an Adventist, so you can get more updates. Let's get started. This week we are studying lesson 4, to love the Lord your God, and the memory text is found in Deuteronomy 6 verse 5. It says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength." This week we will learn more about love in the book of Deuteronomy. And so the Sunday's lesson talks about to love God. And in this lesson, we learn that God commanded Israel to love him with all their heart, all their soul, and all their strength. So Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 5 says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength." But what does it mean to love God with the heart, soul, and strength? According to the lesson, it means that our love for God should be supreme over our love for everything and everyone else. So the Lord wants us to be faithful to him, and the foundation of that faithfulness should be our love for him, for who he is and what he has done for us. Let's move on to the Monday's lesson, to fear God. And in this lesson, we study that Moses told Israel to fear God. Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 2 says, "That you may fear the Lord your God, to keep his statutes and his commandments." Also, Deuteronomy 10 verse 12 commands Israel to both fear and love God. But what does it mean to fear God? According to the lesson, fear is in the sense of awe and respect for who God is, in contrast to our weakness. So, despite the fact that we were children of wrath, Christ died for us and gave us freedom from sin and condemnation, and this is why we should fear and love God at the same time. Now, the Tuesday's lesson is interesting. He first loved us, and in this lesson, we study the love of God for his people. We learned that Moses told Israel about God's love for them. But more than just in words, the Lord revealed his love by his actions. Even despite their sins, the love of God for them was still the same. So, 1 John chapter 4 verse 19 says, "We love him because he first loved us." And this tells us that God's love predated our existence. Thus, the plan of salvation was in place way before the foundation of the world. In short, God is a God of love, a love so great that he went to the cross and died for us. Now, the Wednesday's lesson talks about, "If you love me, keep my commandments." And in this lesson, we learn that Israel was called to love God, but to show that love through obedience. Also, we see that love to God is linked to obedience to his law, thus the 10 commandments. So that's why John chapter 14 verse 15 says, "If you love me, keep my commandments." When we truly love God because of what he has done for us, we want to obey him because that is what he asks us to do. So our obedience to God's commandment is a response to what he has done for us. Now, in the Thursday's lesson, the first commandment, we learn that the Old Testament and the New Testament cannot be separated as others have tried to do. This is because both testaments reveal the goodness and love of God. So when a scribe asked Jesus which the first commandment was, Jesus answered by using Deuteronomy chapter 6 verses 4 and 5. He says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength." By this, Jesus affirms the Lord as their God, and that they are to love him supremely. We also see in the lesson that the commandments of God will play a crucial role when people are called in the last days to choose sides, and the side we will choose will be based on whether or not we truly love God. This is the end of the summary for this week. Read Friday's lesson for further thoughts.